Welcome to this Saturday Travel and History Tip, and this is California Missions Part 6. This entire Saturday tip will be on San Juan Capistrano, and it may be the mission that most people have heard about, not even realizing that it is a part of a chain of 21 splendid Spanish missions that lie along the coast of California. Many of you have heard of San Juan Capistrano because of the swallows that go there mid-March every year, and we will definitely be talking about the swallows. San Juan Capistrano and Mission Dolores, the mission in San Francisco, were the only two churches to remain intact through the decades of secularization. Between 1834 and the turn of the 20th century, most of the properties fell into tremendous disrepair or were totally destroyed. Many people have undergone great tasks to restore these valuable gems to a pristine appearance, recognizing their historic significance. The mission's charm and architecture are compelling, and we have taken you to the following missions in our Saturday Travel and History Tips: San Francisco Solano, San Francisco de Assisi, Santa Cruz, San Juan Bautista, San Carlos Borromeo de Carmelo, Nuestra Sonora de la Soledad, San Antonio de Padua, San Miguel Archangel, San Luis Obispo de Tolosa, Santa Ynez, La Purísima Concepcion, and Santa Gabriel Archangel. And this week we are taking you to the city of San Juan Capistrano, to the mission. This, like all the other missions, is a bonanza of history, agriculture, horticulture, and culture. In the Los Angeles metropolitan area, definitely on the short list of missions to visit is San Juan Capistrano. It was the 7th mission south of the Los Angeles metropolitan area. Due to its notoriety, it is very crowded and parking is tough. We had to park blocks and blocks away on a side street. Do not let this deter a visit though. The structures are phenomenal and the historicity is captivating at this jewel of the missions. Founded on November 1st, 1776, the mission was moved to the current site in 1778. In 1782, the Serra Chapel was built, and it is the only remaining place where Padre Serra held Mass. The 300-year-old cherry wood and gold leaf reredos and altar in the chapel were imported from Barcelona, Spain. The 180-foot-long and 40-foot-wide Great Stone Church, constructed between 1797 and 1806, fell during an earthquake in 1812, and sadly, 40 neophytes were killed. Thankfully, the church bells hanging in the 120-foot-tall bell tower were not destroyed. Two of the largest of the original 1796 bells hang outside the striking ruins. It is reported as one of the most picturesque scenes in California. This is a difficult choice to determine in this 5-star state. Outdoor displays include an olive mill, the 1790 south and west wing walls, outdoor kitchen, metalworking furnaces, 4 mission bells in the bell wall, and the old mission cemetery. Indoor displays include documents signed by Padre Serra and documents related to the unveiling of his statue at Statuary Hall. A section honoring President Abraham Lincoln with books, guns, uniforms, photographs, and paintings is also there. The grounds are graced with cacti, succulents, flowering shrubs, olive trees, exceedingly tall palm trees, and a koi pond. On March 18, 1865, President Lincoln returned the mission property to the church 22 days prior to Lee's surrender at Appomattox. Lincoln was fatally shot less than 1 month later on April 14th. Serra Chapel and the large basilica adjacent to the mission property are part of the active parish church. Ongoing events for Padre Junipero Serra's sainthood were being celebrated during the time frame of our visit. They do charge for the audio tours, and I do recommend you do an audio tour when these things are available, or even go on a guided tour, but they do charge for the guided tours of the buildings, and there is a charge for the plant and garden guide. I totally recommend that you do these particular things to enhance your visit. You've gone that far, you should go for it. Inside the Serra Chapel, this sign says, "Investigating architecture. The sycamore beams and strips of reed that you see above are original materials used to construct this building in the late 1780s. To maintain a comfortable temperature, builders added an insulating layer of adobe mud and plaster over the reeds. In the 1990s, building conservators stabilized the ceiling with metal bars for earthquake safety and left the ceiling exposed to show the original roofing materials and building methods." And that's one of the really neat things that they do at these places, that they shore it up, but they also either glass it in or leave it open so we could see what this place truly looked like when it was constructed. This and the other missions. The Padres kept records of baptisms, confirmations, marriages, burials, and agricultural production levels that they then used when preparing reports to their superiors in Mexico. Great expectations. The Spanish government and Catholic Church provided funding and supplies for the first 5 years of each mission. Padres were expected to have built a self-reliant community that no longer required additional support. In order to fulfill this task, Padres had to go beyond their ecclesiastical or religious rules and master new jobs. Padres' jobs: teachers, architects, farmers, ranchers, supervisors, accountants, musicians, builders, and medics. When Father Junipero Serra accepted the post as Alta California's first father president to the missions at the age of 55, he took one of the most challenging tasks of his life. After leaving Mexico City in 1769, Serra worked with the Spanish army to convert Alta California's natives and colonize Spain's northern possessions. By the time of Father Serra's passing in 1784, he established 9 missions and converted almost 5,000 Native Americans to Christianity. His Franciscan brothers carried on after Father Serra's death and founded the last of the 21 missions in 1823. Welcome to the Serra Chapel. This is a historic house of worship. Please abide by the following. Men, kindly remove your hats. Please do not play with the candles. Only service dogs allowed. Please do not write on the walls. Keep your voice respectfully low while others are praying. There is the old mission cemetery, and they have all kinds of information about the cemetery. And as you can see, this is audio tour stop 14. Again, I recommend that you take advantage of these audio tours. They truly enhance one's visit. This plaque is found below the mission bells. President of the United States, Mr. Richard M. Nixon and Mrs. Richard M. Nixon, to this old mission of San Juan Capistrano, March 22nd, 1969. So apparently they went to go see the swallows. When they rang this bell of San Rafael that was cast in 1804. The mission bells, they're just so amazing, and they're so old, and they're so heavy. This sign was in dedication to this man, Paul Arbizo, who was the bell ringer. He rang the bells on all occasions for 42 years. This great church structure is so impressive, isn't it? It's captivating. It's photogenic, this structure that has fallen into ruins, but is almost probably more beautiful in this state. The exterior property is extraordinary. The plants are exquisite. And as I've mentioned, whenever I can and I see roses, I take time to stop and smell the roses. You should do the same. But now let's talk about those swallows. The story of the cliff swallow's annual journey to San Juan Capistrano is fascinating. The orange-tailed birds travel 15,000 miles from Goya, Argentina, arriving at San Juan Capistrano in March to begin building their nest, leaving on October 23rd to return to Goya. The folklore around the swallows is grandly proclaimed on March 19th, St. Joseph's Day, Swallows Day, with lots of festivities throughout the city, swarming with tourists from around the world. Almost a century ago, the swallows began to build their gourd-shaped nest outside the Serra Chapel. Due to landscape changes and a restoration project in the late 1990s of mission buildings, which included taking down the nest, the swallows' pilgrimage to the mission ended. As a result, the swallows nest all around the area and no longer concentrate on the mission. And what that means, all around the city, the swallows are building their nest. They're not only at the mission property. During our visit in 2016, we saw the mission staff's effort to regain the fascinating phenomena by erecting a new 15 by 15 foot wall with dental plaster nest constructed the same year, along with an audio recording of swallow calls played since 2012. So they're doing their best to try to lure them back to the property. Monsignor St. John O'Sullivan is buried in the cemetery on the site, and he was responsible for the mission from 1910 to 1933. And it was under his leadership that the mission began celebrating the return of the swallows on St. Joseph's Day, March 19th, in the early 1930s. In fact, American composer Leon Rene, who rose to fame in the mid-1900s, became best known for composing When the Swallows Come Back to Capistrano in 1939. It is really a big deal, and it's all part of American history. Learn it, love it, appreciate it. Don't let them steal our history. Share our American history. Hope you watch the Saturday Travel and History Tips. If you appreciate our content, tell others and repost on your social platforms. And go to danasbooks.net to see more videos on great sites across our wonderful nation. Thank you.